Welcome back, friends. I have an extra special craft for you this month. This one is probably our most ambitious ever, and it might take some time. So this is one that you could work on a little bit at a time for a few days or a few weeks, okay? So in your craft kit that your grown-up picked up from the library, you're going to have a big piece of blue paper, okay? And then there's a baggie that is going to have a couple of shades of green paper and a couple of different shapes. And it's also going to have some bright yellow and bright orange, a couple of pieces of blue yarn. And along with your craft kit, you are going to get a cereal box. And you're like, there's no cereal in it. What do I want with the cereal box? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to make our own fish tank. Yeah. And not only that, our fish can move and have little adventures. Okay? So, first things first. I already opened up the cereal box for you. We're going to end up with it flipped inside out so that you can decorate the outside when you have time, okay? First thing we do is we decide what's going to be our front. So these bigger sides are going to be our front. We're going to choose one, and we're going to cut out a big rectangle. And you can draw out that shape with a crayon or a marker, or you can just kind of eyeball it. Other things you're going to need at home besides scissors. You're going to need some white glue. Tape is going to be helpful. Not 100% necessary, but it does help when you're putting it all back together to hold it in place while the glue dries. And then from elsewhere in your craft kit, if you have some of your leftover fish stickers, some of your leftover heart stickers, some of your leftover sequins, any of your leftover bits of paper, you can use your imagination and really get detailed with this if you want, okay? So with our scissors, we're going to make that rectangle. I'm just going to carefully poke a hole about an inch away from the edge and cut out my window. That's really what this is. It's a window to the inside of the fish tank. When I was growing up, I didn't have any pets. I had a brother. That was all I got. So when I would go over to my aunt and uncle's house, they didn't have any toys, but they had a fish tank. So I spent a lot of time watching their fish tank, and I always wanted one. Still never had one, but I always wanted one. So now I'm making my own. Now you might not want a rectangle, you might want a different shape, and that's okay. Just as long as you don't go past the edge. Cut out whatever kind of shape you want so you can see into your fish tank. And when I was making my practice one, I cut it out, and then when I got everything the way I wanted it inside my fish tank, I realized my window was too small. So I had to go back in and trim it. So if you don't like how it looks the first time around, you can adjust. It's better to go small the first time around and then make it bigger. Once you take it out of there, you can't put it back in. So go small, and then if you need to make it a little bit bigger, that's the way to be. You can save this cardboard and use it to put things inside your fish tank if you want to. That's up to you. All right, now we have where our fish are going to be seen from. Okay. On the inside, we're going to put our blue background. This is where our glue is going to come in. And this blue just about covers up that whole section. Now some of your boxes might be a little bit smaller. You might need to do a little bit of trimming on your blue. That's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming on this edge. It's a little bit too wide. So where did I just put my scissors? I put them under all that paper. So I'm just going to do a nice little trim. And like I said, when you're cutting, take off a little bit less than you think that you need first. You can always cut off more, but you can't put it back once it's off. I think I need a little bit more. I cut a crooked line. So like singing, cutting is not my gift. But we do it anyway, right? Right. Once we kind of think we've got where it needs to be, a little dab of glue around the edge. Maybe a few dots in the middle to hold it all in place. A glue stick might work on this, but because the papers, the cardboard's kind of glossy, has that coating on it, thought it'd be better just to be safe and use white glue. And my white glue got stuck again. I've been having trouble with this white glue all day where it's getting stuck in that top part. So I'm gonna brave it and just take off my cap again. And very, very carefully, because this is a big space, if I get a little bit extra, that's probably okay. That just went a little bit faster than waiting for me to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and try to get that glue out of that bottle. Okay. Put our paper down. Now if you want to take some crayons or some markers or whatever you have to decorate this background, you can. I took some of the, now, not the long green paper, some of the shorter green paper. See how there's, this one's going to be the bottom of our tank. But the shorter green, I'll show you here. I need some greenery in my fish tank. I just cut some wiggly lines. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Like I said, wiggly lines. You can do straight lines. You can do whatever you want, whatever type of greenery, but there's usually seaweed or some type of green, kind of real plants, fake plants, whatever. Depends on if you're in a real aquarium or you have one at home. A lot of times it's just decorative. A lot of times it's for the fish to hide in. Because I know when I was watching my aunt and uncle's fishes, a lot of them were shy. They like to hide. Unless you were giving them their fish food. Then they came right out and came up to the surface and you were their best friend. This is just a good practice for scissors. You don't have to make any straight lines if you don't want to. You can just practice cutting. Only way you get better at cutting is to cut, right? Just like anything else. You don't get better if you don't do it. And you can use, again, as much detail as you want. You can color these. You could maybe curl them with a pencil and make them twisty and twirly. That is totally up to you. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to use my glue again. Way too much, but that's okay because I'm going to use more. Put him right there. And you can give a little separation if you want. It's totally up to you. Okay. On the side that's going to be your bottom when you close it up. Okay. So not the big side in the front with the hole, not the big side in the back with your background. this part right here in between the two, that's where that big piece of green paper goes. That's the bottom of your fish tank. And again, you might have to adjust a little bit for length and even maybe for width. You gotta trim it up a little bit. Use your eyeballs. I think I might have gotten that on the first cut. First time for everything, huh? And again, a little bit of glue. Into place. If it's not long enough, you can take your scraps and cover those sides up too. The other thing that you'll be able to do is, because it's a fish tank, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the beach, I like to look for pretty rocks and seashells. So if you have any of those laying around, you could put those in this fish tank on the bottom, if you want, and if your grown-ups say it's okay. Yeah. It's up to you. This is your fish tank, okay? Now, I'm not gonna go into all the detail on my background. I use some of my fish stickers. You could do that too. I have it in my hand, and I love seahorses, so I'm gonna put a seahorse in my background. You don't have to. But you can add a bunch of fish to your background with these stickers. It's totally up to you. There's bubbles to add, which are really fun. Ooh, this is a cute fish too. This one has to go in here. Okay. You can use your green paper and make more greenery on the other side, in the middle, whatever. On my example, if you look, I made a treasure chest. I used some of my extra brown paper from my pirate ship, and I just folded it up and made a treasure chest. And you can take some of your sparkles, if you have any left over from your sea turtles, and make those your jewels. It's up to you. This is your fish tank. You can use your imagination and figure it out any way you want. Like I said, you can take your time over a few days and keep adding little touches if you want, okay? Once you have that all squared away, we need to make a few more cuts so that our fish that we're going to make can move. So along what's going to be our top edge, not too close to the sides. You want to keep these toward the middle because you don't want to weaken your box too much. So again, we're going to carefully poke in to that cardboard. Okay. Now, if your grown-up has a utility knife or an X-Acto knife, those work great on this, but you don't have to have something like that. And those are grown-up tools, so you want to make sure a grown-up is using them. And then once you get your scissors or whatever it is through, you make your cut. Again, you don't want to go too far toward the edges. Lots of space because you want to make sure you keep that box sturdy enough to stay its shape. Okay. I'm going to make another one because I have two fish in my fish tank. Or two that are floating anyway. I got more on my stickers, but two that float and I like to move around. So another very careful poke and another very careful cut. Again, not too close together, not too close to the edge. I haven't tried it. I thought about trying to make them wiggly, but I thought the yarn might stick. Okay. There we go. Once that's all together, and you have all this the way that you want it, then we get to close it all up. Now this is where it might be really helpful to have some some tape on hand, because the glue is going to hold it, but there's all sorts of sides to put all back together. Sometimes that tape just gives it that little extra. So you're going to turn all the edges back the opposite way they're used to going. On the sides, little flaps in first. Put the glue on, and then close the big flaps. And in the interest of time, I'm going to use the tape just so you can see how it looks when it's complete. It's also good to have a second set of hands if you're doing the gluing. Someone to hold one side while you're gluing the other. But if you don't have that, that's when that tape comes in handy. Little flaps in first. Put the glue on those little flaps. Make sure you're gluing the right side of the flap so you don't end up with a bunch of glue on the inside of your fish tank. And then there's that teeny tiny little bottom edge that you just turn under. Put a little bead of glue along there. But like I said, in the interest of time, I'm just going to use tape. Okay. So your box is together. And you can decorate as elaborately as you would like. Then we're going to work on our fish. We have a yellow paper and an orange paper, and you can make your fish however you want. I took the time on my one here, and I gave my fish some stripes. I gave this one some polka dots. You can do whatever you want to do. All you need to do is draw a fish shape, and there should be some Google eyes in there to put Google eyes on either side of your fish. I think I'm just going to draw some basic fish shapes just so you can see. However you want to do it. You can take the time, again, to give them stripes, polka dots, stars. You can put some of the sparkles on them. You can put some of your heart stickers on them. Whatever you want to do to make this fish tank your fish tank. And I forgot to put the Google eyes on the table here with me, so I'm just going to draw my fish's eyes today. I'm going to give him a smile too, because it's a nice day. Okay. Other thing you want to do is carefully have your grown-up put a hole into your fish. Take some of your blue yarn right through that hole, and again, don't put that hole too close to the edge of your fish. You don't want that to pop through your fish. Okay. Make a little knot at the top. You can make a second fish out of the orange. Again, poke a hole through him, use your yarn, and then when you're ready, grab your box. fish. Carefully put him through that hole. And now, he's ready to have adventures in your fish tank. And like I said, take as much time as you want. You can take your fish stickers or your leftover heart stickers or crayons or whatever and decorate the outside of your fish tank. You can put shells or rocks if it's okay if they're grown-ups in the bottom. You can put your sea turtle in here that we made. I think Franklin and Seymour are gonna hang out in the bottom of my fish tank when I get home. Okay. You can hang your jellyfish in here, whatever you wanna do to make this fish tank your fish tank, all right? I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.